Welcome back, everybody. This is part 3, the final part of the Slash body reinforcement video. Just wanted to show this online about my experience, the things I'm using, and maybe some tips and tricks that if you go to do your own that might help. Stick with me on this one. This is probably the most important one because I want to lay all the information on you and you can decipher it how you want to. It's all good, but learn from my mistakes and maybe that'll help you. So first of all, let's talk about the products I used. So on the internet, by far, Shoe Goo, Goop, and E6000 are the most popular with fiberglass drywall tape. And then there's others that use Flex Seal, underbody spray, and all kinds, but I chose these. Shoe Goo's in short supply right now. So I used Amazing Goop, which if you look at Amazing Goop and Shoe Goo and E6000, they're all strin-based synthetic polymers, basically a synthetic rubber. And they all use the same 3 ingredients, except Goop and Shoe Goo all use toluene as a volatile chemical, and then E6000 uses tetrachloride or something like that. It's actually used in dry cleaning. So, but by far they're all 3 basically about the same, a flexible. Now Flex Seal on the other hand uses carbon black and dioxides, but the spray can uses toluene also. So, but I got to say, by far, the Flex Seal is the stinkiest thing on the face of the planet. So if you're going to do it, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area, and you got to remember to let all this stuff off gas. As the glue off gases, it dries, right? So it releases the toluene into the air, right? To fill your garage up. So you got to keep it well ventilated the whole time, or just don't go out there. I couldn't step out after using the Flex Seal on the last video in part 2. Yeah, there was no coming out in the garage for a couple days because it just stunk. I should have put it out in the shed, but trust me, off gassing. You got to let it off gas too, because stuff's got to dry, and you got to be patient with that. So your Amazing Goop and your E6000 and your Shoe Goo, they're all the same, basically strin-based polymer rubbers. So you can't go wrong with either one of the 3, but Amazing Goop seems to be available right now. And there was somebody that did some strength training, strength testing online, and I think Amazing Goop and E6000 are what he showed after a certain amount of drying time, that the Amazing Goop and the E6000 was a little stronger. That's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe the Shoe Goo stays more flexible for a longer period of time. I'm not ready to do that kind of testing. But I know that all of it will harden the longer you let it off gas. And you really have to be patient with all of it. Okay, now my tips on drywall tape. This is just some I picked up at Lowe's. Any fiberglass drywall tape will probably work. It's all good. I think getting it to stick is another story. And there's things where drywall tape, or this kind of tape, works really good on a flat surface. Works great. And you'll see that in my, especially my first video where I put down the goop, and where I had issues with overlapping, because it doesn't want to stick to itself very well, but it will stick to a flat surface. And it will stick to minor dips as long as you get enough overhang for it to stick onto. Where you run into a problem is where you've got a small bit of it hanging over and you try to fold it down, it just ain't gonna work. That's too much. Try to make your cuts to where they're at least even flush with the edge. And if you have to do a dip, big, long, swoopy dips are fine, and crevices, but it's those little tight, you know, things like this isn't so bad. But try not to overlap. There's no need to, really. And I think you'll be all right. And use a putty knife to spread the goop. It worked really well. When I got to the back of the car, you'll see in video 1, worked really well. It's perfect. Glob it down, smooth it out. Sort of like drywall compound. You just put it on and smooth it out really good. Move on. Because it starts tacking up and drying, and then it'll get really gummy the longer you play with it. That toluene will evaporate, and it will get gummy and gummier. So as you've seen from my video, I chose to use both methods, the Flex Seal and the Goopy or Shoe Goo method. I will tell you that I probably have the strongest body known to mankind, but is it necessary to use both? Probably not. Probably not. One thing I will do from now on, if I ever have a chance, is I will goop or shoe goo my body washers to the bottom of my body each time, because I think that's a thing that works really well. But if I did it again, you know, this is all a learning experience. It's the first time I've ever had a bash car, so. But if I did it again, it would be one or the other. I would do the shoe goo and the fiberglass tape, and then spray paint it after the goop dries. And it's going to take a while for the goop to dry too. I mean, to paint it, you're going to have to wait at least a week. 72 hours. I had to wait 72 hours to get it good dry, and then it could have used some more, but it was hot. You got to remember that when you're painting, the perfect painting temperature is between 70, 75 degrees with humidity that was 40 to 45%. That's perfect painting weather. Unfortunately, it was 87 degrees and it was like 80%, 89% humidity. So I was pushing the realms of, especially with the Flex Seal, when I sprayed that on, temperatures were a little too hot. And when stuff gets too hot, it dries too quick. And sprays can flash. You know, that kind of stuff starts happening. But my advice, use one or the other. If you're going to make a bashing car, use the fiberglass tape and the Flex Seal. Oh my gosh. You will not have any issues with this, just using the two together. I mean, it will make a strong body. But you know that old adage, do as I say, not as I do. You have to put light coats on and let it dry in between. You just do, and I'll show you why. Because of this. Quick update. You notice we got some shrinkage everywhere where we put goop. Okay, that video was just hours after I took it. Yeah, you can see we got shrinkage everywhere. But we only have shrinkage over the goo areas. Right? So right here, if you take a peek, I never put any tape or any goo except down here along the bottom and along the top. You can see there's no shrinkage. So if a person was to use the drywall tape and the spray-on goop method, oh, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. But everywhere where I had goop, you can see there was some shrinkage, especially when there was large globs of goop. Flex Seal will even tell you that it doesn't adhere to vinyl and plastics very well. So goop being a Stren product, a Stren polymer rubber, I'm pretty sure that this doesn't stick very well to it. But it ain't coming off. It ain't gonna come off, and it ain't chipping. So I even fixed it up a little bit afterwards. I had a tiny couple of drops in the spray can left, so I kind of faked it and brushed it with a acetone brush. Just kind of got it around to those areas that were kind of light. I didn't have very much left over, so I had some areas that weren't. I will tell you, this thing's strong as an ox. I mean, even though there's cracks in the Flex Seal and stuff, yeah. I mean, for my first time, I like it. But would I do both the next time? No. I think if I was going to make a bashing body, it'd be the Flex Seal and the drywall tape. And then if I want to strengthen things, especially up around the body mounts, I would use the goop and the drywall. And then let that goop dry really good and then spray paint it with some good flexible paint. But I hope that helped. And now we're going to take this thing apart, take the plastic off and see just how much run it. You notice I didn't put tape over the holes, so my bad. So let's take all the protection off of it and just start trimming it up. You will have to trim because that stuff's hard as a rock. Just no other way. Give me a second and I'll take the wrap off. Okay, tape's off. Even with as much as I tried, there's still some overspray and little crusties here and there, which I don't mind. I wanted to try it. I thought this was a great thing, and unfortunately, don't combine both. But you can see, it's strong as an ox. Body weighs about 5 pounds. No, I'm serious. I kind of went overboard with the spraying, so that was my bad. You do as I say, not as I do. You should have, I should have sprayed a light coat, let it dry for 24 hours, come back, added another coat, and just kept building it up that way. It would have worked then. I'm pretty darn sure it would have. But I sprayed it too thick. Oh, I started out good, but then I got in a hurry. I didn't listen to my own advice. So let me get this stuff here trimmed up real quick. Be right back. We're back. All right, we got the fiberglass tape and all that stuff trimmed up. Not bad. I think another hint would be not to put the fiberglass tape to the total edge, but to leave that. I did remove any overspray and extra goop with some paint thinner, but I also immediately wiped it down with some alcohol to dilute it. Didn't haze the body or anything at all. I'll throw some wax on it, wax it up, and then we'll put it on the card and see what it looks like. Okay, tubies. URC greatness. Looks like it's all done. Got it waxed up. Turned out really nice. Still have a few more things to do. One thing I thought about doing, that I wanted to do, was to do this canopy edging. It comes in lots of different sizes and shapes. I thought about using the thin stuff around the bottom, and then I thought about some of this weird shape stuff, if you can see that or not, just as a like a mud guard going around the outside. I'll play with that. We'll see what happens. But that's it for the body reinforcement. You can hear it now. It's not tinny anymore. It's a thud. So that should hold up like forever. I still have some Proline goodies here to put on, some Proline skid, body skid things. I'll do that in another video, just in different locations. One thing I would like to do is, I've seen some louvers, and since the body's so strong now, I'd like to cut out, put louvers in the front and back fender wells, just to kind of let air pass through. We'll see how that goes, if I can find some that'll work. All right, what do you guys think? It's all done. Learn from my mistakes, and hopefully some of the tricks and tips I gave you will help you on your project. But that's mine. Almost ready to run. You know, I haven't ran this thing yet, so gotta get the rest of this body stuff done before I run. I want to get it all done before I run it, just so it'll be done. All right. There it is. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and everybody have a great day.